Hey, it's Jeremy from OpticHouse.com. So in my last drawing video, I poured out my heart about how crappy I felt that I didn't document the process of making the background for Rapture Rumble that I ended up deleting. And, I felt like it was very important to show not just when a piece comes together, but show all the missteps and mistakes that I make along the way. Well, guess what? It turns out that while I did not save the layered file that had the backgrounds that I felt were missteps, I was recording myself while I was working on them. So, now you can see the tragedy for yourself. And, it's funny. Watching the opening parts of this video, seeing myself drawing this background in, it's not that it looks horrible. It's not the worst background that I've ever drawn, the worst background I've seen for anything. But it's the fact that I had a picture in my head, as most artists do when they're drawing, painting, or crafting their work. And this image is just a shallow, pale imitation of what that picture in my mind was. And what I was going for, and I started drawing sort of a structured, in this image right now, it looks like I'm going for a broken glass, fractured look. And that was the closest mental stand-in that I could come up with for what I was trying to create. What I wanted was a sense of clouds. Clouds that had a density to them, but had light cracking through it, like a surface that was being hit by a hammer or a shattered windshield. So I sat down and tried to, if you think of the entire background as the windshield itself, these areas of purple to white lights that are breaking through it, it's like the fracturing of that cloud surface. Unfortunately, I didn't capture the look of a cloud in the areas between these cracks. And moreover, when I went and I did what became the final background, I think the reason why I moved away from that cracking feeling and then just went for sort of a patchy cloud background that was in the distance is that this background really lacks depth. There's no real understanding of a foreground or a background, like things that are in front of the figures and behind the figures. Yes, the background is behind it, but part of what I was trying to draw was almost as if these characters were being embedded in it, as if the background were, say, a couple of feet deep, like a brick layer, and these figures were posed in the middle of that, and there were these cracks around them. But even that feeling isn't what I came across at all. And that's the big reason why, as I went in and drew and painted, I just realized this isn't capturing it. Let me start by just creating a sense of depth and a sense of space. And that's when I went to something that looked more like just a traditional cloud background. Just by painting in the fluffy clouds that I painted in the final version, that alone gave it more of a sense of depth that I wanted. And there are places where a flat graphic look is what I'm going for. This one wasn't it. So I'd say what killed this background was not having a clear understanding of what it was that I was asking of it. And that happens in pieces sometimes. You start asking something of the piece, or you think you know what you want, and when you make what it is that you think, the further along you get with it, the more you realize, nah, that ain't it. This ain't working. So we'd like to think that we're all advanced enough that we can figure it out ahead of time. But sometimes you just need to listen to the piece as you're working and try and listen to what it's trying to tell you. So that's it for now. Check out my website, optichouse.com. Leave me some comments. Sign up for my mailing list. Check out some comics and art prints. Go be creative.